Hi, folks. I'm Mike Morales here, and you're watching a special edition of Open Bar on location. We are here today at La Perla del Mar Bar and Grill in Downey. I want to thank them for giving us a chance to invade their dining room here before an event for the Los Angeles Tequila Club, LATC. And I'm sitting here with Alessandra Camino, who is the main, I guess, one of the owners of Acrónimo Sotol. And Alex and I, we ran it across this brand at one of the previous shows this summer. We fell in love with it because Sotol is like one of my jams, right? And we met your brothers, and they told us that you were part of the group, obviously the ownership. And when you were going to be in town, we had to talk to you. So, Alessandra, why did you decide to get into the Sotol game, and why not tequila or mezcal or something like that? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mike, for having me. It's an honor to be with you and Tequila from Tequila Aficionado. I know that you're kind of the almost trendsetters, the education
Yes.
arm of tequila and other agave spirits.
Yes.
And today we're going beyond agave, right? So Mexican spirits have a huge world to them, a huge portfolio. Many different products that bring different traditions, and in our case, so I'm part of the co-founding team. This is a family brand, Acrónimo, and we produce both a sotol and a gin finished with sotol. And why did we start doing this? Our family has always been in hospitality, but other than that, we're very proud Chihuahuans. Our family has more than 200 years of history in Chihuahua.
Wow,
yes,
no kidding.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
It's super interesting because my great-great-grandfather was appointed by Lincoln, and he was a consul of the U.S. to Mexico. That's how he moved from Kentucky to Chihuahua, and then he married a Chihuahuan.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so after that, his son was the one who brought the railroad. They were involved in government, but also kind of in just business building, and they were kind of pioneers in the region. Mm-hmm. So us as a new generation, we wanted to continue with that legacy, and what better way than bringing the spirit of Chihuahua to the rest of the world, right? So basically that's our passion at this point, and that's why we're pursuing this dream, and that's why we want to share a bit of our home with other places, and now here in California.
Yeah. We were talking off camera, and I told Alessandra that I've been exposed to Sotol for probably more than 18 years by one of the first families of Sotol, and Alex and I were really good friends with them, and I fell in love with it. And I was living in New Mexico at the time, so I have to say, for me, Sotol, when we talk about terroir, in tequila, tequila has become so much more refined these days that it's very difficult to define what a highlands tequila is, what a lowlands tequila is, where the region's coming from. In fact, we were just at an event where that was it helped define the 5 different regions, growing regions of tequila. But for me, what really defines terroir is Sotol. And Sotol, for those of you who don't know Sotol, Sotol is not an agave spirit. It's agave adjacent. It is technically, I think it's considered.
It's a non-lilacia, so actually it's super interesting.
It's a lily, isn't it?
Yeah, even though it's not agave, both agave and Dasylirion come from the same family, which is the asparagus family.
Right.
Let's think of it as a grandmother, right? And then like it had 2 branches or many branches of kids, and then they multiplied, and we get to Dasylirion, which is from the non-lilacia, and the agave, which is from the Agavaceae family.
Right.
So yes, I call it, to simplify, the cousin of the north. I think it's a funky way to say it.
No, that's fun. If you like your cousin, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I know that there are several different strains of the plant. Like there's Cedrosinum, there's Leophyllum, and then there's Wheelery. Do you use all of them or just one in particular?
Yes. I also wanted to go back to your point in terms of terroir because I think that's worthwhile mentioning. So Sotol grows in the Chihuahuan Desert, which is the largest desert in Northern America. So it's super interesting because this is a huge terroir, right? And think of the desert, like very cold in the evening, very hot during the day, and very low input of water. So this plant is a resilient plant, right? It thrives in the harshest conditions.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes it super interesting. And obviously, since the region is so big, there's so much like different flavor profiles that you can find to it. It's not only in terms of the different varietals, but also in terms of where the plant is growing.
Yes. And the hand of the maker at that point also.
Exactly. So in our case, we use two varieties. So we use Cedrosanum and Willery. So Willery is kind of like the more spread or the more well-known plant, I'd say, that is used for Sotol. There's more than 25 different varietals. So it's a very wide array of Dasylirium plants. But Willery is the more well-known. It has some almost like honey flavor to it.
Yeah.
Very herbal, but I'd say like that brings a bit of like the sweetness to the profile. And Willery normally it grows more on the actual like desert.
It's more wild harvested as well.
Yeah. They're both wild harvested.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
At this point, I think 99% of the Sotol that is out there in the market is wild harvest. So it's also super interesting because you have, there's a lot of studies to be done in terms of varieties because sometimes there's cross-pollination between species, right? So up to now, there's 25 different species that have been identified, but obviously there's so much to learn. And then Cedrosanum grows closer to Coahuila.
Yes.
So this is actually very interesting as well because the PDO of Sotol encompasses Chihuahua, Coahuila, and Durango. So these are three of the largest states in Mexico. It's a super vast region. Just Chihuahua, it's barely the size of the UK, right?
Yes.
So I mean, this the plant and Sotol in itself, it's very terroir driven. It has earthy notes, herbal, and as we said, it depends on which plant you're using and the process and everything. But there's something very characteristic to Sotol. I don't know if you've ever been in the north of Mexico, but the smell of the north of Mexico, right? Like kind of this almost like dry dust, dry earth. It's part of this profile.
I when I discuss it, when we do our own education, sometimes when we do our own tastings of Sotol, for me, because I lived in New Mexico for so long, you can smell rain before it hits the ground.
Totally.
and it always smells different. It smells different from the asphalt to the ground to the grass. And Sotol really captures that. And I knew one gentleman who actually was one of the first ones to make a Sotol in Texas, and he did it the right way because he actually studied with other Sotoleros. And I had no idea that Sotol Texanum, which is the one he was using, actually tastes like the prairie. It tastes and smells like Texas, because every state has a really different. And so, like I said, Sotol for me, when you talk about terroir, it's one of the easiest liquors to use when you discuss what terroir is, aside from mezcal, because mezcal is just crazy. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But Sotol really does it for me because it just brings me back to the desert. For anybody who's a desert dweller, or likes that dry, arid, environment. This is it. Now, I'm gonna. We were discussing this off camera with your brother, and I know that you were running a campaign on Instagram.
Yes.
You and the family suffered your first theft.
Oh yeah.
Of product. Tell me a little bit about what happened, because I know you were running a contest, and it was very clever. If you haven't seen their Instagram, you need to follow their Instagram. First of all, tell me what happened. How did you find out that
so basically, we sent our pallets, so we're with a couple of warehouses, one in California, one in Florida, well, 3 actually, and another one in New Jersey. So when the product arrived, they were like, oh, there's a missing pallet. And we were like a bit weirded about it, and we were like, oh, can you double check? At the beginning, they said it was only 14 cases, and it was like the full pallet that was missing. So we basically, yeah, like at the end, what happened, we had to check kind of like the reports. And apparently in Laredo, but that was super interesting actually, we thought got stolen on the Mexican side,
Right?
But it got stolen on the U.S. side in Laredo.
And we know that that's happening more
Yes.
and more. It's becoming more and more common because in
Yes.
the past, some of the tequileros that we know were getting hijacked on the way to the border, so they would get they would
Yes.
get their stuff stolen on the Mexican side. But so your brand now shares something unusual with
Yes.
a famous tequila that will have a 60 Minutes special going on this Sunday. So, how did you find out that it was stolen? Well, because
basically the person who was in charge of the transport, they have to do like checkups and like
Okay.
so at some point he reported like it was missing and like once it got to the final warehouse like it was missing. But other than that, we got lucky. I mean, in terms of the logistics company responded really well. Like as all companies, you have to have an insurance on it,
Right.
so that got covered. But at the end, it's more than just like losing, the money. It's like you actually have to produce again. Like we needed that product, so at the end, it's like it ends up being a liability and a problem.
Exactly. Especially with a fledgling brand like yours,
Yes.
you're a startup, so you need all the precious juice you can get.
Exactly.
Because was it just strictly the Sotol, or was it the Sotol gin, or was it a combination of both
I think
was missing?
it was, so actually that was just a Sotol shipment, so it was a Sotol pallet, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we played around and, like
Well, I
who's
did, I
drinking
loved
like
it.
Sotol, and
Well, you
somewhere
had a
near-
margarita glass in it, and it was like half your bottle. It was like sliced in half, and I go, what? That's very clever. It's very clever, the campaign. So, I want to ask you then, what, besides the Sotol, what made you want to go with Sotol gin? Because these are infused, and and Alex and I did have a sample, and we got lucky, we got a couple of bottles to do our official review. And why did you go into gin? How did that happen? Because to my knowledge, this is the first Sotol gin. I've had mezcal gins. I've had a couple of different types of mezcal gin. But why Sotol? Why did you go there?
So actually, I think it's a combination of happenings or events that led to this happening. So before starting this company, I was living in London. That's where I did my master's. So clearly, like the UK is quite like gin driven. It's like a gin market, right? So I saw that all the time, people enjoying their gins, and that was also part of my lifestyle there. Also, one of my other brothers, who's part of the founding team of our brand, he's a gin lover, so he has a gin collection, and that also coincided with we have a boutique hotel in downtown Chihuahua, and we have at that time there was this really good bartender who actually started this recipe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he worked with us to develop the profile.
I was going to say,
Yes.
he selected the botanicals that are in there?
Yes, he selected the botanicals.
What specific botanicals are in here? I mean, we can pick them out, but I'd like to hear
so
from you
it
what
has
the recipe
juniper
says.
from La Sierra Tarahumara.
So all the botanicals are from Chihuahua, from that area?
Not all
Not all.
botanicals, but juniper is,
Okay.
which is the most important
Yes.
botanical you
Yes.
need to have in the gin. Then it has cardamom, peppers, like white, pink pepper, and black pepper. Then it has also like some citrusy notes because it has orange, lime, and grapefruit. And
Yes.
lavender as well.
Lavender,
But
yes.
Which is also kind of like a very subtle touch to it. Actually, the other
It's
day,
very calming
Yeah.
too. You notice that it's kind of a mood altering, gin.
Yeah.
I just want to be respectful of the times. I know we're going to be doing an event here shortly. I know that you mentioned in your Instagram you had a really interesting post, and I usually ask this question to a lot of the women who are involved in agave spirits and agave adjacent spirits. You're my first, besides the Jaques Bettis family. You're my first Sotolera or Sotol brand.
No, I love that. Thank you for interviewing me.
No, thank you for giving us the time. I
Yes.
appreciate that. For anybody who's out there who has a dream like you and your brothers, how many people in your family?
So we're actually 5 siblings. It's 4
and all
brothers.
5 are involved?
3 of them are involved.
Okay.
So Gonzalo, Jose Luis, and myself. And then the other ones, they are somehow involved. You know, like if I have tastings, they come with me, or they go with Gonzalo. They're helping us like carry boxes or like do Instagram posts.
So you're the only girl in the family?
I'm the only girl in the
Wow,
family.
you must have been a tough date. Jeez. So we have women in the business, and there's more and more out there now.
Yeah.
What would you tell a woman who, anybody
Yes.
who has a dream and says, I want to start my own,
Yes.
whatever? What do you tell them? What would you say to them if you were to give them advice?
Also, before jumping into that, also my mom is very involved. She's actually like funding like the project. So basically, like it's two women in the family who are like pushing this
next
project.
Time bring your mom.
Yes.
Love
She's
to meet her.
our main supporter.
Right
from
on.
all,
Hi, Mom.
Yes, she's the best. So
What's your mother's first name?
Denise.
Denise.
Yes, yes.
Okay, there's a name I won't forget. Good. So what do you tell?
What I would tell them, I think there's always, being a woman can be challenging in any space, right? Where you're at. So mainly find a passion find a project that you're very passionate about, so you can actually like pour all your energy to it, because it's energy draining, right?
Yes. Your schedule is crazy. You and your brother this whole week, and you're headed to Sotol
week in New York.
Yes, and you just moved to New York, right?
I moved to New York a month ago. So
wow, congratulations!
Thank you.
You're the one that started this whole thing, right? Like perfect timing. I'm gonna move there, and they have Sotol week. Look at that.
It's been super exciting, but then again, there's always there's challenges to it, but you have to take those challenges as a competitive advantage as well, right? Like if you're one of the few women in the industry, just make that your superpower, right? So that's how I've taken it. You can be either, conflicted by it or sad about it, but at the end it's more...
Or victimized by it.
Victimized by it.
Yeah.
But it's more of how do you partner with the right people? How do you ask the right questions? When you're starting something, you don't know everything. No one knows everything, but this is a learning process, and you have to be humble enough to say, like, I don't know this, how can I learn? Partner with the right people, get a great team. Very important, get good funding, right?
Right.
Projects normally cost double the price or the cost that you were actually forecasting. So, I mean, it's not only about being a woman, but how to use, because women, we do have like sometimes a different like sense to things, a different type of empathy sometimes, right? And this is a business of people. So, use that in your favor. Use that to promote what is closer to your heart, and go for it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I thank you for that advice, because I think it's it's true for men or women. It doesn't matter. It's just pursuing a dream and going full bore. Just
Totally.
con ganas. As we like to say.
Totally.
Anyway, lastly, before we sign off. You're not the Sotolera. You're not the actual distiller. So who is distilling this for you?
So we're working with a 5th generation Maestro Sotolero. His distillery is called Casa Inspiración. His name is Gerardo Ruelas. So he's truly a master, and I've been so impressed by how he crafts our product, but not only in terms of like the roasting of the piña, but mainly in terms of the fermentation process.
Yes.
He knows so much of fermentation. This is...
well, to me, that's where the magic happens.
Like we don't have a controlled yeast, so it's all natural.
It's all natural.
And you can even see like how he hears, like the yeast, how he smells, sometimes tastes, and he said like this is ready to go for distillation. So for me, that has been like really clever, and he grew up in that sotoleria, you know. So in that vinata. So at the end, he's
he's the guy. Yeah,
he knows this since he was like a young guy. The other day, I actually asked him like, tell me your first memory of Sotol, and he's like, I don't know which is my first memory. It's always been part of my life, you know, like
it's part of his blood. It's in his blood.
Exactly.
Well, folks, I want to thank Alessandra.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and giving
you.
us some time. You folks have been watching and listening to a special edition of Open Bar on location. We're here at La Perla del Mar Cantina and Grill. I want to thank them here in Downey, California. Come on by. You got to taste their food. We're going to have food later on. And they got a really killer bar, too. You'd be surprised. It's a small but mighty. So support local. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing where the brand goes from here and kill it in New York.
Thank you.
Show them what they're missing, okay? Because we know.
And also, if you want to try our products, you can go through our online store, which is acrónimo.com. Acrónimo like acronym, but in Spanish, just for simplification. And then we're in a bunch of local stores like Hilo Market, this other one. I'll send you the list.
I know, there's so many,
but
right?
If you go into our Instagram and you click on where to find us, you'll find all the retailer stores where we're currently at.
Keep an eye out, folks. You're looking at something that's going to blaze a trail here. Congratulations again.
Salud. Thank you for having us.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Un placer.